Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, into the charts we go on this Thursday, March 7th, 2013. Markets are fractionally positive, but barely holding. You can clearly see there's been this big resistance area that the market's been hammering on really all day today until this little late day breakdown. And again, it's around the just before the 2:30 time frame. Market was unbelievably quiet all morning long as we just await for tomorrow's non-farm payrolls number, unemployment numbers, and that's again what the market's looking towards. But in the meantime, you were trying to battle through this level of resistance, and look at how many times we hit on this, just in this very tight sideways maneuver. And then ultimately the markets have broken down, but they've come right into another support line. And again, this is a support line we talked about in yesterday's technical analysis video to members only, where if you break below this and close below, then the markets could actually see a little bit of selling. But as long as you hold here at this level, which is currently where the markets are, they could easily float this thing back up. Volume, folks, get this. We basically have an hour and a half left on the day. 45 million traded on the SPY. That's probably on pace to do like 60 million, 65 million unless some major volume surge comes in. So just keep that in mind, guys. And again, we'll go from there. But nonetheless, very intriguing little action here as the markets have inched back down a little bit. Still positive on the day, but coming off those highs for sure, unable to break through really the 155 level. 155 is really the level that the markets had a lot of trouble getting through here on the SPY. All right, couple other things here to go over. Number one, I have some plays that I'm going to give you guys later today. One play I just passed along to Nick in the chat room was CLSN. CLSN has started to move up ever since I mentioned it. I gave it out at 103. It's now at 105, $1.05. Look at the chart here. All right, see it's dead lows on the chart. The reason why you think this could be a runner here in the afternoon session, and again, you're looking for 10 cents, 20 cents off it, which is 10 to 20%. But the reasoning behind it is very simple. Look at AFFY, what this stock is doing today. Same general chart, and look at this thing popping literally almost 50% today. So if this one can pop 50% and it's the same exact chart, why not CLSN? Why can't that get at least a bit of 10, 20 cents, even 10, 15, 20%? So again, you have to think like that as a trader. Very important to understand that aspect and think like a trader. All right, couple other stocks on watch for me, and then I'll get into the analysis. BVSN low floater here. Now up, inching up here on the daily chart. Look at this, trying to break above. I love this bottom it's made, folks. A long-term bottom, really going back for 6 months. Beautiful. If you go back further, look at how high this stock was back here. It ran literally in a couple weeks all the way from basically, $5, $10, all the way to $50. Look at the base that it's made here. So I'm very, very high on this one, even though the volume is not super high yet. But it is inching up today, and I think it bears watching. If it can close above that 50 MA, it could be a breakout. First target would be a move to about the $9.25 level with the 200 MA. If it can break through that on volume, it's off to the races. I mean, you can see this thing back at these highs, back at the $12 range. So again, BVSN is the symbol there. And again, it's a high risk play because it's a thin stock. You don't buy a lot of it if you do play it, but you want to be aware that there is an opportunity here to possibly be involved in and make some good cash on. All right, let's go back to the intraday chart here. Let's pop up the SPY again. Markets continue to hammer on that trend line. If that fails, your next stop is going to be right here. This is going to be a short-term little support area around the 154.35 level. The biggest change from what's been going on today, folks, is the pullback in JPM off the highs. And again, I want to mention this because I think to this morning all day JPM was strong. And look at this little reversal. Now, you're going to have good support here on the intraday 50 MA, but nonetheless, it's a very, very nice pullback off the highs. And the interesting thing with JPM, you might have a topping tail here on the daily, which actually I really do like if it does form. But look at the level you came into. Let me erase these earlier levels here. These are not what I'm talking about. If you go back to 2008, the high in 2008 is exactly the high of today. And that's a major pivot. I mean, if you think the high of 2008, I mean, that was just after the market started to come in here a little bit, and it's not quite the high of 2007, but as a pivot, it's the only pivot left before that 2007 high. So be aware of that there. And again, Should be some major resistance. Watch to see if we get a topping tail on JP Morgan Chase today. That could be a short-term minor reversal signal on the charts. Tomorrow, remember non-farm payrolls number, which I just mentioned before. And again, we'll go from there. Next up, let's take a look at Apple. Now, Apple's an interesting one. Apple's still up $1 on the day. It's still technically holding the key level on an intraday basis as a low. And this is actually a good move on Apple today off the lows. This was your low right down here from a couple days ago. And if it breaks that, then it's going to 395. Never broke that. On the upside, it still hasn't really broken out. Breakup would be this high pivot. All right, you can see it touched it the next day on a gap up, didn't get through it. So you're really watching to see as it's kind of equidistant between the high and the low pivots here, which way is it going to go? Is it going to break to the upside? Is it going to break to the downside? How is it all going to trade out? And again, keep an eye on that into the afternoon session here. Bullish pattern right now if it can hold the 50. If it closes below the 50, all bets off here. But again, it is trying to hold on here. We will continue to watch it and see. All right, couple other things here. Let's go into a couple other details. Amazon's down about $1. Google's flat on the day. Markets again, it's really a holding pattern for tomorrow's jobs number, as I said before, if we go to the SPY. But just on a minor basis, it is interesting to see if we can break this sloping up trend line. And again, look at how much the market's holding on to this right now. It's really an amazing level right now. All right, but again, keep an eye on JPM. I think that could be the leading indicator. That if that forms a topping tail today, that could be telling us that the jobs number tomorrow may disappoint. Now, there's two ways it could disappoint, which I think is kind of interesting because you have, if it's too strong of a number, that could be bad, and if it's too weak of a number, that could be bad. All right, too strong of a number, well, too weak of a number right away. Okay, the economy's not doing as well as we thought from Wednesday's ADP private sector numbers, but if it's too strong of a number, you also have the risk of, okay, too strong of a number, the Fed is going to have to pull back on their QE policy. And if that happens, then that could be a negative as well. So it's kind of an interesting little perplexed situation here that we do want to pay attention to. All right, I think so at least. All right. Spiders, again, are holding that level, starting to inch up just a little bit, so we will keep a close eye on that into the afternoon session. Chevron's basically flat. Exxon's been taking a nice hit today, though. I have to say, Exxon's been much, much weaker than Chevron, as it's basically trading at the lows of the day. On a flat to up day in the markets, to see Exxon down 75 cents is actually a pretty big fall here. Looking at the daily chart, you can see this is actually a longer-term bearish pattern. Pretty nice bearish pattern, too. Sharp down move, inside bar, rotation sideways. So you do have a bearish pattern on that chart. All right, guys, I've given you a couple charts to look at here in the coming hours into the end of the day. I will be posting new trade alerts on the hot charts and alerts inside the research center, which are swing trades. Join us here, 7-day free trial to the research center. If you're a swing trader or an investor, that's where you want to be. If you're a day trader, come to us in the intraday stock chat as we give out live calls. You see our charts live. You can ask us questions live. It's an awesome forum. It really is. Best educational trading forum in the world. And again, we'll give you our expert proprietary methodology alongside it. All right, come join us here in themoneystocks.com, folks, and take care.